Hey everyone, this is Ryan B with Practical Forex Trading. This is your US dollar Japanese yen weekly analysis. The date is February 2nd, 2020. My sentiment is bearish on this pair, meaning the dollar losing value compared to the yen. Dollar is going to face some major opposition in the weeks ahead. We did a US dollar weekly analysis chart. Make sure you check that out on this channel as well. If you want to stay up to date on all the dollar yen analysis, make sure you subscribe to our channel. So we look at this support and resistance and price for the dollar yen. We see a couple big bearish candles forming after price tested this resistance line at the, we'll just call it the 110 area, right? So when I'm looking for these candles, we see that these just last two weeks of action really just erase any gains we saw in the months before that. It essentially engulfing that price action, which means more to come in the future. I also have a note, sell a pullback to 19050. So that's a note to myself, not giving you advice, telling you what to do, but what I'm looking to do is sell a pullback to 109.50. So this is the daily chart, and we see price clicking moving away. And actually, price may not pull back that far. I could even say sell a pullback to 109, because what I'm attempting to do is see this resistance line. It took months and months as price approached that to make any kind of gains. It's quickly erasing. So I'd like to get a little better of a price, if possible. Looks like price is sitting on some minor support here. So we may see early in the week a pullback here, but that's fine because I really want to sell that pullback to 109.50. And then what I can do is either price is going to be stuck in a range here, right? So we could see the dollar yen's pretty famous for a lot of sideways action because they're both reserve currencies. So if I'm expecting the pound to put a lot of pressure on the yen this week, but the pound also to put a lot of pressure on the dollar, that could affect this pair by keeping prices kind of going sideways. So really looking for a better entry point, sell a pullback to 109.50. But if we look in the big picture of things, that would be a great sell potentially, because if price does break out and the yen continues to dominate the dollar, that it would be a pretty big trade. Let's go ahead and look at this. There we go. So that's our descending triangle. That's a multi-year downtrend. Now you've got kind of price trapped in this wedge, right? And that's the parity we see there between these reserve currencies, or they has its own trend, its own breath of life. Okay, so there we go. Big picture, we may not see the yen get more valuable against the dollar than 105. However, in the short term, could be a great sell. So I am bearish for this week as we go into the yen. One last look. Let's go ahead and draw a parallel and look at the 4-hour. So when I think about my parallel trend channel, I think about what's the short term in my long-term game. So if I'm looking for a pullback, an equidistant trend channel can help tell me where that pullback might occur to. So you want to look for a trend line is the same angle as your larger trend line. And then, okay, great. So let's go ahead and put a moving average on. And I want to know where my 20 moving average is sitting at. That's my fast. The reason why I want to know that is it's going to help me determine a good entry point. So usually the best entry points are when price is sitting on, above or below the fast moving average. So if you use that technique back here, you're going to make some good money off of a buy. Price comes back down, touches again, another good buy. Price goes below it, that makes a good sell. You can see the pattern there. So when I talk about sell a pullback to 109.50, we really see that that's where the 20 fast moving average is residing, because it'll still be in a downtrend, but what you don't want to do is you don't want to sell at the bottom, and this is kind of like right now where price is. We kind of sell at the bottom. You really want to wait for a price to come back near the top of their rally and average back out. If price gets too far ahead of the fast moving average, it always has to pull back at some point and average out. So in the daily, it's pretty far ahead. In the 4-hour, still pretty far ahead. So, and we see here, this is interesting. This is a gap from last week. Let's talk about this gap. We see some support and resistance made by this gap here. Market's gapped above it and then gapped below it, which is fairly significant. So if I'm looking to sell a pullback, interesting that happens at 109.11. So maybe price won't really go higher than 109.10. That's our pullback. And I'm putting my stops above the $1.10 mark. But yeah, we'll see. Might be more gapping when the market opens this week. We saw so much action on Friday that we might get a big open. So either ways, keep your stops tight, let your limits run, and I hope you have a great week trading. Good luck to you.